Fans, we are here with the directors of Moana 2, who have also been affiliated with the original Moana. Congratulations on the second one.
Thank you.
I talked to the cast earlier, and the notion that this was initially going to be a 10-episode limited series.
Yeah.
I would love to see what 45-minute episodes of Moana would have looked like for 10 episodes, or 22 minutes for 10 episodes. But what you gave us with this film, still quite enjoyable. But it just did leave us wanting more. So congratulations on that.
We're glad that people want more. We're glad that they love these characters in the world. But truly, the overarching story that we were telling in the series is the story we told in Moana 2 theatrically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you did a wonderful job with this. Your background is half Samoan or
part Samoan, yes.
Yeah. When you get to tell a story that is close to your heart, and especially when it comes to your own cultural identity, and you're introducing it more so to a broader audience, how exciting is that for you? More so than just the sippy towel when it comes to rugby, and that aspect of it, to bring it to a general audience.
For me, it's selfish. I get to, every day research and imagine what it was like for my ancestors to find some of, the last discoverable lands on Earth. The people of the Pacific were able to make the largest cultural ethnosphere, the Pacific Ocean, prior to Western expansion. So for me, it has been absolutely humbling. It is something that I take very seriously. In showing the growth in Moana's island and in her life, we added Simea, and Simea is the name of one of my Samoan ancestors and the name of my daughter. So yeah, the lines between kind of my life and the movie definitely got blurry.
When you guys get to revisit a character like this 8 years later, and technology has been more advanced, yet the design still remains quite similar to the original, even though we're 6 months in technology is leaps and bounds what it was prior to. How do you find that balance in keeping tied to the original but showing us something new and innovative at the same time?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think what has continued through the time the first Moana was released and the making of Moana 2 is everybody in this building got even better at what they did. There has the technology has gotten to a point where we can kind of do anything, so it's really about the storytelling. But I do think there's one thing one example I can give you is, we always saw the ocean coming alive and being Moana's partner, messing with her, but at the end when there's that incredible chamber that's created where under the water, we wanted to show that same world but in a much different way and in a much different feeling. So there's always more things to explore, and the technical challenges of that are things that we've done in a way, but not quite in the same emotional state that we were at the end of this film. So I think everybody's just gotten better at what they do here, honestly, including from a facial standpoint. The acting in this film is unlike anything we've ever actually done here before, the subtlety. So
the other thing is the complexity.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like all the things that you're talking about, but then we were able to put even more layers into a single shot. There's a shot with Maui singing Kamana Moana, and there are 27,000 mud skippers behind him.
Backup singing.
Yeah, backup singing. It's absolutely incredible what they're able to put into each frame.
Yeah, I did want to ask you guys this. I asked the cast this. So I belong to an indigenous ethnic group in the Middle East, and Polynesians are indigenous to their island. And for the last decade, we've kind of heard, you can't tell this story because you don't belong to this ethnic identity. You can't tell this story because you don't understand the cultural aspect of this identity.
Yeah.
Yet what you've done with Moana 2 is told an international story that is very localized to this fictitious island nation.
Yeah.
How important is that to now break that wall down and it's like, no, we can tell a Polynesian story for the entire world that everybody can relate to?
Yeah. The idea of universal themes is something we're always looking for as storytellers. And, I think as we were delving into this, and something, Dave, you always say, is that the more specific we got to the culture, the more universal it somehow became. Because at the core, and I believe this personally, I'll just say I think human beings are more alike than we like to sometimes present itself, or there's belief systems that might be different from one place to another, but at our core, we are humans, and we we are better together. It was something we always believed in. So hopefully the idea of these universal things can just speak to our cultures are more alike than what we think.
And, you know, we were so fortunate to have this oceanic cultural trust that we got to work with on a weekly basis to cover our blind spots. I have Samoan heritage, but I did not grow up in Samoa. And I didn't grow up in Tonga or Fiji. And we had people from all the various islands working with us and helping to guide us, not at like big checkpoint moments, but weekly, so that they could help just form the trajectory of the story we're telling.
Gentlemen, I'm going to leave you with this because I did get the 1 minute warning. On March 12th, it's coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Walt was a genius in pulling back the curtain just enough to make us feel like we were a part of the creation of something.
Yeah.
And you did that with the bonus features for the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
What's something 100 years later with what he created then that we're celebrating now with Moana 2 that pulls the curtain back for us to share with a modern audience?
That's a great question. You know, I think always it's interesting to see behind the scenes how these things are created, what ideas that get thrown out in the striving for what's the best version of our story. We're playing with a lot of those things within those bonus content where you'll see scenes that seem like they could have fit, but they just weren't quite right for us. I think ultimately what Walt did was find the best story, and that's what you're trying to do. So I think it's a peek behind the curtain to see, you know, there's a lot of great ideas that don't quite make it, and we give a reason why. So.
Yeah, and I think for me, like, think about very specifically to this movie, seeing a window into how the music is made, to seeing how the music drives the emotion and our characters themselves, seeing, you know, the contributions of someone who grew up in Tokelau, you know, Opatai of Hawaii, teamed up with Emily and Abigail. I think that's absolutely amazing. And then very lastly, seeing the combination of old technology and new technology, seeing 2D animation working with 3D animation. I mean, we did it in the first, but just to continue that and to show how, you know, the roots of the art form still matter. Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Moana 2 coming to Disney Plus March 12th. Great pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure.